Theory of constraints, TOC, is providing answers to just three fundamental questions. The first question is, what to change? Why is it such an important question? It is so important because we naively think that we know the answer. Just ask anybody in your organization what to change, and you will find out to what extent people are real experts in bitching and moaning. And every one of these gripes is a suggestion to what to change. Do we know how to answer this question? Just think of it in the following way. You know that Pareto principle exists. 20% of the problems create 80% of the impact. Do we need a focusing mechanism that will tell us which problem should we solve, what to change? Of course, yes. But can't we use our intuition and our knowledge to sort it out and to do the priorities? The impression is that we can. But let's look on it really seriously, a little bit. What am I talking about? Look, suppose that each circle is a circle that tells you the area in which a person really knows intimately the details. Let's suppose that each circle is a work center or even a department. And then the judgment is according to what? According to the knowledge of what intimately goes in and what will be the impact if we correct it. But what we have to bear in mind is that actually the situation is that the organization, the performance of the organization is depending not just on the performance of one link. We have to work through synchronized efforts of all the links. Now what happens? A person has intimate knowledge of one link, but he doesn't know the others. And if we are talking about a person that does see the whole chain, he doesn't have the intimate knowledge of each link and what really goes on in terms of exactly what is the problem. Don't you realize that we need a focusing mechanism that will tell us what is the impact of the problem on the overall performance of the company? Where is such a focusing mechanism? TOC, Theory of Constraints, says there is a way to answer it very, very quickly. But this providing that we know that the performance of the company is depending on the leverage points, on the constraints. The constraints are the one that dictates the performance of the whole company. If we identify the constraints, now we can judge what is the impact of each problem, how much it affects the exploitation of the constraints, how much it disturbs the subordination, to what extent it's preventing the elevation of the constraint. That's what gives us the ability to judge which problem is more important than the other in terms of its priority to fix it. Even when we look on conventional problems, on process problems, and that's where the focus of almost all the process of ongoing improvement today is aimed, what impact will we get if we add the focusing mechanism? In other words, right now what we do is we ask everybody, we get the whole list of the things that has to be corrected, and then we use the people who are above to tell us, based on their intuition and experience, which problems are more important than the other, and we are doing the priority list, and according to that, we start to fix the problems. What is the difference if we will use the theory of constraints methods and mechanisms in order to give us the priority of what should be changed?